next guest is Craig Edwards. Edwards tips _ we're going to start talking about a world championship. First, Ronnie O'Sullivan knocked out in the first round. The biggest shock in Crucible history, can you believe? Here to tell us more about it is Craig Edwards. Craig, welcome. Good to see you. How are you doing?
Yes, all good. Yeah, I'm in shock myself from the results at the Crucible so far, but mainly that one.
You did say. Sorry, yeah, you did say that he struggled at the Crucible. I think like it was, but we weren't expecting this sort of a struggle.
I think it must be playing at the back of his mind now. He's had such a perfect season. I thought he was going there in the best shape possible, and he's got his psychiatrist, and he's able to commit to the process of winning. He's had trouble staying focused for 17 days. And what I mean by that is he will have bad sessions and he will start to make excuses in his mind. You could see yesterday within, pretty much from the second frame onwards, his brain had gone. He'd looked frazzled. I don't know whether it was the pressure of playing the amateur. He struggled to show him any respect and just commit to the process of beating him. And of course, the more table time that James Cahill got, the better he played, the more he relaxed, and the vice versa went on to Ronnie. And I think he's just in a pressure trap at the Crucible now. 5 in 26 years now, that's a poor return. It's probably the only records he's not going to break. He's not going to break Stephen Hendry's most world champions. You'd be amazed. I would say his best chance of winning the World Championship is not to play the full season prior and to go there fresh, which he did twice. But that's a bit extreme. And it's obviously been playing in the back of his mind because pretty quickly he looked gone. Today he started well and then played a couple of are wrong shots, and he continued to go for them. And he did say, I mean, I don't know whether it's an excuse or, whatever you think about it, he did say he was feeling poorly and tired. But only 3 days previous on Twitter, he was saying he's a keep fit fanatic. He does a lot of jogging. He does a lot of healthy cooking. And the last thing you expect from Ronnie is to be struggling with his fitness. But I suppose if you've caught a bug, anyone can be having an off day.
Yeah, very true indeed. The question, the thing is obviously it's really affected the outrights and obviously sort of blown it quite wide open. So who now is in the running?
Well, I think it affects the minds of the next favourites in the betting, and the next one was Judd Trump. He's had a nightmare afternoon against a dangerous qualifier, Thetchir and Nur, and he looks like he's on his way out tomorrow. So that's going to heap the pressure then on Neil Robertson. And although I was thinking Neil Robertson's going to win comfortably, he can't help but be affected by this. And Sean Murphy, a previous champion, I mean, hopefully Neil Robertson's professional enough not to let it play in the back of his mind, but Judd Trump already has done. I'll be very surprised if Judd Trump turns the momentum tomorrow. He looked in a bad place himself, the same as Ronnie did. Basically, now Ronnie's out, any one of the top players can win this. And I guess really being a favourite is almost a poison chalice with the expectations of the media over here with it. Someone like Sean Murphy coming off a poor season. I mean, I've been impressed with some of the players coming off a poor season. I mean, it's been quite an expensive week for me because I've backed against them. Mark Williams, John Higgins, Ding Junhui, they've all played to how you expect them to play over the years, but all season they've been poor. They've been their worst seasons. Sean Murphy, a perfect example of it. He's had a nightmare season, but he made 4 centuries. And going back to the Crucible Theatre, it is something of a time capsule for previous champions, like the Masters was for Tiger Woods. That when they step out there, immediately they relax, they feel the atmosphere. It's a very special place for snooker players to play. Mm-hmm. And you could see it with Ding Junhui. He's had a bad season. He's not a previous champion, but he has gone deep in the World Championship. And I watched his match. I was over there on Sunday, and he's hitting the ball well. I was really impressed with all the old champions. So the marathon of 17 days might be against John Higgins. I would say Mark Williams, but he won it last year and they reached the final. But once they start playing well, they are very difficult to beat. So it is wide open. The pressure is on all the favourites now. People like John Higgins, Sean Murphy, Mark Williams will be quite enjoying it because they're probably feeling like they're playing better than they've played all season. They love the venue. And at the moment, the World Championship is probably Neil Robertson's to lose.
Okay.
At the moment. I don't know, what betting have you got there in front of you for him, Natalie?
Yeah, pardon?
Have you got a price for Neil Robertson?
Well, I'm just looking actually because some of these prices have not updated and still include Ronnie O'Sullivan. So, for example, World Championship winner right now. So it's Robertson that's the favourite, 4.33. Mark Selby 7.5. Jude Trump 8.5, and Ding Junhui at 15. But it's still actually one market is not updated because it says name the finalists. Neil Robertson and Ronnie O'Sullivan, but obviously he's not going to be in the final. Yes,
you don't want to be having that bet, do you?
No.
It's Mark Selby comes into the equation. He was 5-1 down, won 3 times here, had a bad season. The one good side of having a bad season is you're fresh, you're keen, and you're still hungry. People like Robertson, Ronnie, Trump, they can all be a bit fatigued over the top because there is only so many. Snooker's such a hand-to-eye coordination sport. Fractions play such a difference that you can only really have so many peak days. And although you probably can't, the viewer can't see it, sometimes the players are actually struggling, in comparison to their best games. So, it's looking wide open. It really is. You could almost, James Cahill was 22-1 to beat Ronnie O'Sullivan in a 2-horse race. Thetcheer was 6-1 to beat Judd Trump today. And suddenly from a World Championship, normally favourites win. It's almost favouring the underdog now because, they've got the pressure of the favourites.
Yeah. Tomorrow, obviously, we've got. We're just pulling up the odds here. Obviously, we've got three matches. We've got 2 obviously heavy favourites here: Barry Hawkins and Kieran Wilson, 1.33 and 1.27 respectively. But Jack Lewinsky, 1.85 against Ali Carter. If you are going for a favourite there, any of those that you're looking at to place bets on?
Well, I've liked Jack Lisowski all season, and I do think he's got the absolute class in his game to break through at the Crucible. He does it easily, he wins frames quickly, it takes nothing out of him. And he has got a very tough match with Ali Carter. There is no getting away from that. But he equipped himself well last year. He beat Stuart Bingham as a qualifier. As long as he gets on top of Ali Carter and doesn't let the game get close, I expect him to beat Ali Carter. And he's an interesting name in the draw because he makes other players feel a little bit inferior on the table because he's so talented. I'm interested in Jack Lisowski, but he's got the toughest first round match to get through. And the other matches tomorrow, I think Kieran Wilson will beat Scott Donaldson. Scott Donaldson had a real tough time qualifying. He must be exhausted. He reached the semi-finals in China. He is playing well, and Kieran Wilson has had equipment difficulties. So if the fatigue doesn't get to Scott Donaldson and he stayed with him in the early part of the match, he could perhaps get there at the end. But you've got to favour Kieran Wilson. Barry Hawkins, the other seed, is a great Crucible player, but he's coming here in pretty poor form. Again, we've just talked about them players that play well here and have come here in poor form. He's another one of them. He's never won it here, but he's been runner-up. on several occasions, and he reached the semi-final last year. He should get through. Li Hang didn't play great in the qualifiers by his standards, although he is a good player. It wouldn't surprise me if he plays better. I think you've got to favour the favourites tomorrow. I mean, I'm saying that, but not many's won in the last 2 days.
Well, that's the thing. So Lisowski obviously 1.85, but like I said, Hawkins and Wilson 1.33 and 1.27 respectively. Is there anything that we can bet on that actually has a bit more value than that, or would you combine them as a double?
No, I'd go for Lisowski to win, probably with an alternative handicap. If you had chance to go -2.5. Possibly, I think you get probably 2-1 above. If Jack Lisowski wins, I expect him to win quite easy. So it'll be 10-7 downwards. You could go with the alternative handicaps to try and find a better price. Mm-hmm. As regards the others, no, there's not a great deal of value. I can't really imagine Barry Hawkins and Kieran Wilson will play their game, and so for me, I would be looking at Jack Lisowski -2.5, possibly even -3.5. Okay. You could perhaps do the both. Or if you want to be safe, you could back him on the money line at 1.85, 1.86, and I like his chances to beat Ali Carter. I mean, I suppose the only thing is that with all these surprises, both players will be half fancying winning the tournament, because Ali Carter's been to the final twice. Mm-hmm. He beat Ronnie O'Sullivan here last year, so it is a tough draw. I mean, It's quite possible that the winner of Jack Lisowski or Ali Carter could actually make the final.
Yeah. And okay, so right now as well, and then obviously we've got a few matches taking place Thursday and Friday as well. For somebody wanting to pull the trigger, including like the outright bets right now, what would you advise our viewers?
From the outright point of view, I would probably be considering Mark Williams again as the defending champion. I didn't really give him much chance coming here, but I was really impressed how he played first match. He's such a laid-back character. Dave Gilbert's an impressive player, but you can't fancy him to beat Mark Williams in the last 16. So I think probably Mark Williams from the top half would give people a run for the money each way. What price is he on the? I think he'll be about 14-1 at a guess. I think you've got to also give Stuart Bingham a little chance as well. He's a previous winner. And if you really wanted to be brave, you could give Sean Murphy. The Sean Murphy match with Neil Robertson is a massive match, because although I think Neil Robertson, on all known form this season, should put Sean Murphy under too much pressure and he'll break, there is the factor now that with Ronnie out, Judd Trump loses tomorrow, Neil Robertson will then shorten up to about 2-1 favourite, 5-2, and in which case, with that pressure, he may come apart if Sean Murphy plays well. So you could take that opportunity at a big price, because if Sean Murphy was to beat Neil Robertson, it would mean he's playing well, and it would mean he's playing well enough to probably make the final. So it's a wide open event now. It really is. It's if you'd looked at it when we were speaking 2 weeks ago, you thought that it couldn't be anyone but O'Sullivan, Trump, and Robertson. But in truth, Trump will probably lose tomorrow. I think he'll do well to turn it around. It's a big test for him. And if he loses, with all the pressure going on Robertson and the fatigue that Robertson must be feeling from recent non-stop winning, it will be wide open. I mean, it's just basically anyone can win it then. Anyone that's left in. I mean, I suppose you've got James Cahill. I mean, who knows how good he is? and he will get a lot of confidence from winning that match. Now, usually they tend to bounce and lose next match because Stephen Maguire will be delighted to be playing James Cahill and not Ronnie O'Sullivan. Obviously, he will be delighted. But there is the other factor that the young lad may just buy into the atmosphere and just go with the flow and just let the pressure tell on his opponents. That's it really is. It's really flummoxed me this first week, I'll be honest with you. I mean, it's great for watching, but if you're having a bet, just keep your bet small and enjoy, what is a great World Championship, and is more an interesting World Championship than we expected, I think.
Yeah. All right. So, and then on the match bets here, Lisowski at either the 1.85 or give an alternative handicap there, maybe like a -2, -2.5, I think. So that's something to take as well.